how are other people doing this? Success leaves clues. We didn't have all the answers, but we showed up. It definitely took a mindset shift and some heart and some time to be there, but it was so worth it. So worth it.
Hello and welcome to the Total Wealth Academy video podcast. I'm your host, Steve Davis. I'm the CEO of Total Wealth Academy, also one of the lead consultants here. And on this show, I try to bring you some very interesting people who are on the journey to financial independence. Some of them have already achieved financial independence. And this family is extremely interesting because they've got every excuse not to be successful, meaning a job, a family. You know, so many people are out there going, well, I can't do it because I have a job and a family. Well, this couple does have a job and a family, and they actually use that as their motivation, part of their motivation to do it. For me, when I was raising my kids, the kids were part of the motivation to do the real estate. So I don't understand when people say, well, I got kids, and well, that should be even more motivation. And let me introduce you to Frank and Jessica Hayen. Frank, thanks a lot for you guys, both of you, Jessica, for coming on and sharing your story. Why don't you just begin right from the beginning? You know, let's talk about your family first, and then your experience in corporate America, how you ended up in single family and moved on from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So back in 2019, I was a school teacher. Frank was working in the oil and gas, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And we realized we have no time and no money to raise this child.
Right.
And so we leaped out of our previous jobs, went into sales, trying to make more money. And everything we made, we started dumping into single family. We started doing the Dave Ramsey. We were reading the 7 baby steps, trying to pay off our mortgage. Well, we were negative 210 net worth in debt, and
Wow.
we had no money. So
Negative 210,000.
yeah,
And it was all in the mortgage, right? Because we were living the what 99% of the world lives, you know, high mortgage. We looked rich, but if you looked at our bank account, it was probably like $1,000 or less. We were that couple. But when she got pregnant, it was like a switch went off. It was like, okay, we got to figure this out, because that year I had worked 342 days out of 365. Every weekend I worked, I made $225. And that was huge for us. I mean, that was huge. We were so excited to make that. I mean, now we have that coming in from one passive investment or one rental property. We have double that coming in without me having to work the weekends. And now I can spend that extra time with, you know, my kids on the weekends, which they're older now. They're 4 and 6. So I have a girl that's 6 years old and a boy that's 4 years old. And I was going on my lunch breaks because I was working corporate, a W-2 job, and I would go on my lunch breaks to view these single family properties. I had a realtor at the time. It was about 6 months before I decided to become a realtor myself. I had a realtor at the time who knew a little bit about rental properties. And so he would tell me, hey, Frank, run the numbers on these. Let's go look at them on your lunch break. And the first one we bought was a triplex. We bought it for around, it was listed at like 208. We got it for about 200,000. And that one cash flowed around 1,400 at the time. And then I would say in the last year, it's up to $1,740
Wow.
or so that it was cash flowing from the triplex, because we bought it so cheap. We bought a lot of them around the 3% interest rate. And so the mortgages were low. So it made perfect sense from a math standpoint. You know, with a 3% mortgage on 200,000, I think the note is probably, you know, 1,200, 1,250, right? And you got 3 units that's paying you. And so the cash flow was very high. So the ROI was high. And that was an amazing memory, because picking up that cash flow, because at first I didn't know better. So I would go pick up the checks. Instead, now we do it everything electronically. And I have a picture on my phone of we have our baby in the kitchen and I'm holding the cash like this with a big smile because it was the first time we had ever got cash flow. First time ever. And that was in 2020.
This was around COVID. So when
Yes.
everybody
Yeah.
was scared, we didn't have all the answers. We didn't wait to figure it all out. We just jumped into it. We took action.
Right. Which was crazy because, in 2019, we started reading books and we started looking for mentors. And after the 7 Baby Steps by Dave Ramsey, we were like, this doesn't feel like wealth. Like we'd made it to baby step number 6. There was only one more, which baby step 7 was pay off your home and give generously. And I was like, I don't want to pay off my home like that. What is that going to do for me? That's zero cash flow for me. I'm still going to have to work. And so the next book was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that one was the game changer because it was in same years, a couple of months after, and it was assets and liabilities. And it told me in the book, go calculate your net worth. And I did. And it was negative 210,000 because of this huge house payment. And I had a Corvette sitting in the garage, right? Which so stupid, right? To be so poor, but have all these nice things. And but at that time, you don't know better because you have a map that society and school gives you, and we were just following that map is what we were doing. And we sold it. Once we read that book, it was like, okay, let's get rid of these liabilities and buy more assets. And cash flow is king, so let's buy assets that cash flow. And we said, okay, how do you get rid of this huge amount of debt? Sell it. And so we sold it and bought our next home. And through reading the books, we realized the next home should be a rental. And so we did that for several years where we would do like a live and flip, but we wouldn't flip it, we would hold it. So a live and hold. We would move into it, fix it up, and then after 12 months, we would move out and rent it out. And I had read a book called One Rental at a Time, and it basically said if you get 4 rental properties, you will more than quadruple what you would have in your 401k at 65. And so I always said, okay, if I can get to 4, and I know I can do that by, moving into them, fixing them and renting them. Well,
that's a slow process.
It's crazy what you write down. Be careful what you write down because it comes true. Because that first year we ended up buying 9 rental properties because we switched jobs because as a W-2 corporate employee, you're kind of capped on what you can make, and you're not always guaranteed to get a 3% raise every year to keep up with inflation. And so we said, okay, you know what? We're very outgoing, super disciplined. Well, let's go into sales. Sales is the best job under the CEO. I can actually make more than the CEO because the harder I work, the more I can make. And we were very hard workers. We wanted to change. We didn't want to live that way anymore. We wanted to buy more assets, provide a cash flow to buy back our time to spend with our kids. And that map proved to be the best map because we went into sales. When we moved jobs, we were able to pull our 401ks, and that allowed us to buy 9 properties that first year. And it turns out, statistically, if you look back, 2020 was the best financial year to buy real estate in the last 50 years. We didn't know that. It was already in our map. We were going to do this regardless if the numbers make sense. Total Wealth has a sandbox. At that time, I had something similar, and you plug in the numbers of the single family, and it tells you your ROI, your cash on cash return, and if the investment's a good investment or not. And that's what I was using, and that's how we got to those 9.
Yeah. And right around that time, when we were about 9, 10, maybe we had already gone up to 17 single family properties, we got introduced to Total Wealth.
Right.
We heard about, and this is at the point I had my second child, and I brought Frankie with me. I was there on one of those Saturday classes.
We have pictures at Total Wealth with little Frankie, and your daughter actually babysit one time while we gave a presentation. Yeah, so really cool. Yeah, really cool memories.
But we got introduced to Total Wealth. We met with you, Steve. You helped us refine our map. We obviously we didn't have big enough goals. And so we looked at everything and you connected us with the right people. Total Wealth is amazing. It's got all the resources, the vendors, the brokers, off-market deals. And that's kind of how you saw the potential in us and said, hey, you're already doing this over here with single family. You have what it takes to do it with multifamily. And so that really encouraged us, inspired us, and we did everything you told us to do and more.
And more, and more.
Yeah.
And I still have the email from you. I have 2 emails from you that I saved on my phone that I always share with Jessica every now and then to remind of the map that you gave us. And what was so cool is when we met you, before that, we had mentors. But we had business mentors, we had spiritual mentors, parental mentors, but we didn't have a real estate mentor, or more like a results, somebody who would give us better results. And I vetted 4 mentors that year. We both did. We actually went out to lunch with everything. And you were the one that stood out the most. And it was because you had done it, you had a proven track record, you had integrity, your kids had even done it. And it aligned perfectly with all the books I had read. And up to that point, I was probably at around 50 to 75 books that I was reading. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, he's saying everything I've been learning. He can get us to where we want to go. And it was so cool because we brought a number in and we said, Steve, we want to make this amount of money a month. And we put it was big. It was a BHAG for us. It was a big, hairy, audacious goal for us at the time. And you said, okay, give us your budget. What are you making now? Okay, this is your map to get to that. And you got us to that. And we've hit that goal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've hit that goal. And then like Jessica said, we've succeeded past what the map you told us, because you told us, if this is working, Frank, keep going. You don't have to reinvent the map. Stay on the trail and just keep building it bigger. And that's what we've done.
And most of it is success leaves clues. So we really study the people who have succeeded in this arena, and we follow their footsteps and what they're doing. And now Frank, on the other end, has the opportunity to KP and do this for others and share back what we've learned so that they as well can follow through on their maps or whatever their real estate goals are.
Yeah, and let's deal with that term KP, because a lot of the viewers probably don't know what that is. It's a key principle. What Frank and Jessica have done is helped other people get into deals that they could not have gotten into by themselves. This is paying it forward, I believe, in probably the best way that you can do it in the real estate industry. And you also had some help too, didn't Craig McKinley? There's so many inspirational people up here. It's hard to list them all. But Craig McKinley's one of those guys that just gives and gives and gives and then gives more to help other people. He's just a ball of energy. Yeah. So KPing is it's very rewarding. It can also be very profitable. But that's what a KP is, for those of you who did not know that. Key principle. You got your general partner, your GP, the person that leads the deal, but then you may have to have a KP, someone with a little extra cash, a little more credibility to get that deal done.
And how that started, Steve, was when we went to you, we said, who do we need to look up to? Who do we need to follow, right? Because success leaves clues. So who do we need to follow? And at that time, you told us there's a wonderful couple, Craig and Linda McKinley. They're doing great things with integrity. They're doing great deals. You need to talk to them. And they became our first KP, our first key principal to get the deals done, because, the lender's going to look at the track record, the net worth, and the liquidity of a key principal or a GP, and they're going to validate it to, can they get this deal done? Do they have the experience of what it takes to get the deal done from the start to the finish line? And Craig and Linda are the KP on our first deal, and then several deals after. And following their footsteps reminds me of this quote, we're given 2 arms, one to pull ourselves up with, and then one to reach back and pull someone else up with. And that's what I felt like they were doing. And I tell you, besides you, Craig he gets so much energy and passion from giving back, so much energy and passion. He absolutely loves it. if he could retire giving back, I think that's what he's going to do. I mean, he absolutely loves it. And so I'm watching him. He's a mentor of mine, and I'm learning from him. And that's where I learned it, was because I had several new syndicators or new sponsors, or even some that had experience come to me and say, Frank, would you be a KP/mentor for me to help me get these deals done? Because it takes a whole army to get these deals
Yep.
done. It's not just one person. So it's a lot of total wealth members and a lot of total wealth uh, players to come together to get these big deals done. They're millions of dollars. This is what, Wells Fargo and BlackRock are buying. So we're doing the same thing. And they came to me, and I vetted them, and I vetted them the way Craig or you would, and decided to do that. And we've done 3 so far, 2 for Frank Parrish and 1 for Hinder Burago, and their wives as well. And we became great friends, all of us. We meet for lunch, we talk about our deals, we share what's working. We literally share what is working, what is not working, what the market is doing, and where we need to pivot right now this quarter, or when is the next time to sell, where's leasing marketing at. I mean, we go over everything together. And I don't know many other industries where you have that. Jeff Bezos isn't sharing his strategies with just anyone.
Yeah.
So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's impressive. It's almost like you've created a mastermind group without even trying. It's just kind of a side effect. You got that mastermind group because there is nothing like somebody coming to you with less experience and saying, look, I'm having a problem with this. I'm getting killed on this. And you're able to say, oh, yeah, so did I. And here's what we did to solve it. And then they can go out and use that technique as well.
We literally say, like, I'm not going to let you fail. Like, you're not going to fail. You've got all of this support around you. I say it all the time. You've got all this support. Use us. Be resourceful. Tony Robbins' favorite word, be resourceful. That's actually our word for 2026. That's why I said that. So that's our word, is be resourceful. If you're not meeting your goals or progressing, you need to be more resourceful. And there's people out there. I mean, Total Wealth changed our life. So it's out there. You just have to take action and join.
Well, question, when you were in corporate America, I know the children were the big motivation, but was there any one incident that kind of pushed you towards building your own income? Like for me, it was a pay cut. They came in and cut my pay. When you're in sales, a lot of times what they do is one year you hit a goal and then they move the goal the next year and change your pay so that you make less money even if you sell the same.
Tell them about yours.
But I think honestly, back to your question, what was that incident? We both grew up from humble beginnings. Our parents didn't have very much. Nothing was passed down to us. Nothing was really given to us. And so we wanted to break that generational curse of poverty. And it was just a must for us at that point.
Right.
Like we must do something about this, and we're going to change this trajectory. We're going to leave, assets and a legacy for our kiddos to be able to take over when we're no longer here. Generations will never meet. So it was just deciding one day we will no longer live like this with no time and no money.
And then,
so it was a mindset shift.
Right. And that first, I'm telling you, that first time I picked up the cash flow was just an amazing feeling. I mean, that it changed. I would never look back from there. I was like, I didn't have to work 30 days, but I just picked up all this cash flow on the first of the month. That cash flow paid for our daycare and our mortgage at that time. I mean, that's amazing. So then you start playing games and you start naming the cash flow. Well, that property over there pays for Jessica's shoes. That property over there pays for the car note. That pays for the mortgage, right?
Jessica's
the purses.
Shoes.
And I'm sure you do this too, right? But the purses, yeah. And so that was a big change. And going back to what you said in sales, gosh, I have a little story, but Jessica's story was bigger. Do you want to share it or me?
I mean, we both were in sales, and I was doing so well in my sales position that Frank left January of 2022 or 23.
23.
And I held the ground financially for us for about 2, 3 years, making 300K a year. I mean, it was great. The money was great.
She was number one. She was number
Wow.
one saleswoman. Out of all men, the number one saleswoman. She sold like $7 million.
What were you
But then
selling?
security cameras.
Security cameras. Okay.
Not to residential, commercial buildings.
Yeah,
Only.
commercial.
So schools. So she was able to land the largest growing school district in Texas, and so that was awesome. So one big account.
Whole goal with that was we no longer wanted to be working for somebody else's dream. When you're working in the corporate world, I mean, yes, there's uncapped commissions, all this fun stuff, but then, like you said, eventually they start messing with your pay.
And they did. They sure did.
All that. And I took big leap this September. I left, I put in my 2 weeks notice and never looked back. And now we're fully focused on the real estate. We're looking for our 5th apartment deal at this point.
Right.
How many
Yeah.
doors are you at now?
We're close to 600 units
Wow.
that we own. That we own and
Congratulations.
operate. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
impressive. From 17.
And once again, we're following your map, which was, once you get to so many doors, so much in passive income from the multifamily, start selling off the single family. And so we're on year 5 now, holding these single families. So we've started dispositioning several. We're doing 2 to 3 a year right now, which works really good, and then replacing that money into multifamily. Way less property management on my side, more of the passive route. And that strategy works great. A lot of Total Wealth members have told me they've gone that route and it worked very well. So selling off the single family, taking those capital gains and the principals, putting that in multifamily, and basically kicking the can down the road for the taxes. So not having to pay capital gains taxes by rolling it into the multifamily.
Are you doing a 1031?
I'm not doing the 1031 because they do have limits on those. Usually sponsors will, they would like to see about $1 million coming over. And these single families, you're looking
I
at,
got you.
yeah, 150 to 200,000 maybe, or something.
Yeah, understood. Okay. In conclusion, what would be the encouraging words for someone who's watching this, who's sitting there going, man, got a job, got a family, my job's messing with me, I want to spend more time with my family. What would be your advice to them?
You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to get around the right people, come to Total Wealth, talk to Steve, meet other investors there, other syndicators there,
Yeah.
and educate yourself. The big word here is educate. Come
Yeah.
out and learn. How are other people doing this? Success leaves clues. We didn't have all the answers, but we showed up. It definitely took a mindset shift and some heart and some time to be there, but it was so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah, I would say proximity is power. And so getting in the right rooms, I love being the dumbest one in the room. So that's why I try to get in these rooms where everybody is, 10 times me. And then I would say just listening to the stories. At Total Wealth, they have Spotlight Night, and they share their success stories. Several in single family, several in multifamily. Whichever one resonates with you that you think you can do, follow that. Follow the path, and get a mentor. I would say if you're a high earner, you may want more passive income and focus on making more money if you're a high earner. If you don't make much money, the low barrier of entry is single family. You can start with fix and flips or buy and holds. There's meetings at Total Wealth where, like, I don't know what you call it, where the Seago group will come in and they'll offer
Oh, yeah.
Catalyst funding, and they'll offer these single family rental properties, and they'll do all the legwork for sometimes no cash out of pocket, right? So I would say find out which route works best for you, and you got to get in these rooms though, because the rooms think differently. If I would have stayed in corporate, I would not be thinking the way I think today, and I wouldn't have grown, and my family wouldn't be where we are today. And so just getting better rooms.
Yeah. And passive investing. I mean, if you're not invested in real estate at this point, the good, start today. And you don't have to be the one running the syndication or operating the deal. You can be on the passive side, limited partner side, where you let us do all the work and you just put your money on the table and watch it grow. So there's so much opportunity for anyone wanting to get started in creating this financial freedom or financial independence for their families.
Yeah, I think the big message that underlies what you're saying is that people need to be very careful that they don't lose hope, that they don't get down on themselves, get down on corporate America, get down on the government, blame this, blame that. There is hope, there is a way out, and there's tons of books out there to read. Come check out Total Wealth Academy, of course. But read, and when you're done reading, read some more.
Yes.
That everybody that I talk to who's successful, readers are leaders, as they say.
Absolutely.
All right, Frank, Jessica, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you
Thank you.
doing this podcast for us. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. Take care.